Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to another Slime Isekai Memories video. So I figured with my new sort of beginning of being free to play, we'll see if that gets paused during the collabs, just because um they don't they never come, they might never come back. I don't know. We'll see. But I did want to talk about shard management and who you should be using these on, and this, and then also whereas I think it's in the Valor Cup coin, these moats as well, because now that I have decided to be free to play, I realize that now it might be a better time to, one, actually start using these, and two, kind of go through my thought process of who I'm thinking of using them on. And I guess I'll click this, and also maybe like criteria, I guess, just in case like people are also kind of in my similar situation where you have these but you're not really sure on like who you should be sharding up, right? Whether you're beginner or like mid game. I would consider myself mid game to late game, I guess. I feel like there's not much like end game quote unquote content in this game anyway. But I do feel that I am not as far ahead in other content as other people are. But I am slowly making my way there, if you know what I mean. Like, I am slowly clearing through Loop Loop, Valor Cup, all that stuff. Oh, wait, yeah, I'll take that. But yeah, anyway, while I claim this, let's just go to the character list really quickly. So I'll go to my character list and I'll just sort it. I want to sort this. I'll sort it by initial rarity, okay? So we have all the 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars and such. So I'll just be talking about like 5-star shards, because I mean 4-star shards, that's up to you whether how you use it, or if you want to use it, whatever. I don't really see the point in talking about it. But for 5-star shards, so I guess first off, if you're a beginner player, or like a newer-ish player, and you don't have, I'm pretty sure I can capture everyone in one little thing. Yeah, these 3 right here. So Dark Milim, this right here, this Earth Milim, and this Light Gazelle. I'm not gonna lie, those are probably who you would want to shard up first. If you guys don't know already, these 5-star shards only work, don't look at her here, 5-star shards only work on general 5-star characters. They don't work on EX. They have their own separate unique sort of shards that they use to enhance themselves. But for generic 5 stars that really aren't put out anymore, but have all been put inside the general banner, you can use those shards on them. And I'll first be talking about why you should bring, I mean, obviously it's pretty obvious why you would want to bring these. All 3 of them are probably going to be your most used supporting characters like ever. If we go to their trait, so their trait for all 3 of them, at the start of battle, they increase their protection gauge by 11. And this can be acquired at level 92. I don't have it up here, but it can be acquired at level 92, which is 3 dupes. So 3 dupes is where you get the max trait, and for those 3 characters, it's like impeccable that you get them as high, at least to level 92. You can shard them up to level 100, level 104, 108 if you want, but if you're thinking about who you should use those first and you have 1, 2, or all 3 of these characters, then use it on them. That's where you're gonna get the most value. Of course, there will be certain situations where you just happen to need this, and so you're like, oh, maybe I'll shard them up to you. But I would say the #1 priority for everyone are these 3 characters, obviously, because if you don't have them duped already at level 92 plus, you're already just starting at disadvantage, and like you will just need these to like just generally optimize strategies and stuff when you start. And so putting good gear on them as well is also heavily recommended. But outside of the original, the protection trio, it can go one of two ways. So you can choose to shard characters at to up to level like 92 or higher if you want. For specific traits, I would say typically protection and skill point traits are what you want to prioritize the most. You can maybe go for other ones for like attack or like crit damage, but those are typically things you don't want to invest in, because you can always just buff attack through a skill or something. But with like protection gauge and skill points and stuff, mainly protection gauge, sometimes it can be hard to get, and it's like really crucial that you need it. So typically you can choose characters to shard up who have protection gauge traits. Can I name any off the top of my head? She is free. I believe this Water Shion, or her trait, if you see at level 92, she gives 5 points into your protection gauge every 2 turns. So characters who have a protection gauge trait, or like even this Windmillum or the space oh wait, where is it? The space Rimuru, they both have these sort of protection gauge traits, right? Every 2 or 3 turns. So outside of the original protection trio, you'd probably want to focus on that if you're looking specifically for traits. Another way you can go down is your DPS characters, or characters you would often throw in support in your rear guard for like your DPS characters. So for example, this Dark Millum, Violet, and Hero. So you can see I have in the moats, I have a lot, right? I have 10, and I mean you only need 5 to fully get a character to level 120. I have 10. These shards I'm kind of like saving ish, but you'll see that I have her at level 112. Then I have Fire Violet at 104 and Hero at 104. You'll see a lot of people have these like specific characters at level 120 because they not only have really good stats, but they're also characters who have good traits, or you use them frequently. So for the Hero, I should have her at 120. I just haven't yet, and I kind of can't because I don't have enough shards. But characters like these, where they're either previous DPS characters, like even this Space Millum, right? Previous DPS characters that have a lot of stats that you would normally invest a lot of gear into anyway, you can use shards on those characters to replace like EX supports, because once you have EX characters that you can throw on support, typically that's what you'll use, unless they're like, I don't know, like Water Rain, for example. I don't really have like amazing gear on her because I don't typically use her that much. So in that case, then I would maybe, I don't know, rank or 6-star and like level 120 like Water Shuna, because you throw her, or this Water Shion because you use their protection trait a lot, right? So characters like that, so DPS or trait characters or the original trio, I would typically say are characters that you want to focus on with those shards, because you're going to get the most value out of it. You're going to use them frequently. You're going to constantly be putting them on your teams. They're just going to have better stats because their stats do increase as you level them up. I believe so. I believe their stats just generally increase. Yeah, they increase the stat limit by a little bit, right? So it's unfortunate that you can't throw extra shards that you've gotten before into them. Technically you can, but like once they hit level 100, you can't invest more dupes into that specific character. You can only like buy shards from the shop, right? So yeah, now that I guess getting rid of oh, I guess one last thing as well. One last thing that I kind of forgot to talk about is skill fusion. So if you have a character like, let's say this Light Shizue, Don't look at her gear. Light Shizue. So if you look at her skill, you can see Elegant Light. Her kit is pretty bad, right? At level max, general like basic, it just decreases a single target's attack by 20% for 1 turn. It's a skill that you're never really gonna use. It's just not worth it. She doesn't really do damage, and this is just like pointless, right? But then her skill fusion, she lowers their attack rate by 20% for 2 turns, which is like, okay, it's not bad, but it's not anything too crazy. But she also increases guard rate of all allies by 80% for 2 turns. So you have an 80% chance to guard an attack, and guard can decreases obviously the amount of damage that your characters will take. So given her sort of healing for, I think it's 50% at level 10, or 45%. That's almost 50. She can be a decent tank if you put, the right gear on her, right? Obviously, I haven't had the chance to use her, but I also haven't had the chance to use her skill fusion. But if you're at that level where you're able to, like, if you want to focus on specific skill fusions, and let's say a really good one is Space Rimuru. If you didn't have him level 100 already, you could use your shards to get him up to level 100 so that you can get access to his skill fusion, because skill fusions are actually pretty useful, obviously depending on the character, but certain characters have really good skill fusions, like Trainee, this guy, a bunch of other characters that I can't name off the top of my head, but you can use that as well. So that's the last thing. So in reality, in total, you have the original trio, you have protection traits or skill point traits. You could do like attack traits and stuff, but not really. You don't really want to do that, but you can. And then lastly are and then I guess like your DPS characters, like your main damage dealers, or I don't know about tanks because you can always supplement that with gear. But typically damage dealers or common supports or mainstays like the hero. The hero is kind of like the main example that you would want to use these shards on, because you would get the most value out of those 3. And then the last one are skill fusions, but that's kind of for more like later on people, more mid game to end game players who don't wail out on the game, but do have consistent access to shards and are able to clear events to get those shards. So with that out of the way, I'll do a little talk on who I'm thinking about using my shards on. So I don't really have, so out of my 6 stars, for example, my 6 stars so far, I do want to take these 3 eventually up to level 120. I do also want to focus on maybe starting to get the protection trait characters, just because I use them so often that like the increased stats, and also want to improve their gear, but the increased stats would be very helpful. So I'm thinking about focusing on those, and then so first the protection trio, then probably the hero will be next, and then after that it might kind of have to sit on the back burner because that's going to take a while. But after that I would probably focus on characters that are already level 100. I don't know if I really want to focus on these unless I really need to, like I don't know, maybe this Water Shion, because her trait is actually really useful. But I don't know, I don't feel the greatest using it on these level 80 characters, because I will always pull more dupes of them later when these shards, are specifically going to be more useful on level 100 characters, because you can't level them up any other way. So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I don't really feel the need to use them on support characters, any of these at the moment, octogram characters aside. I'm not really seeing anyone. Maybe this Water Hinata, but she's a bit outdated in terms of being a DPS character. Like, I don't really use her anymore. I would just use like Water Milim or Shinsha or Hinata or like Aqua Kazuma, so there's that. I feel like I've thought about using it on her as well, because she is very useful. I just I'm kind of waiting to see if I can pull her out of tickets and things like that, because I don't want to be too hasty with it and then pull dupes of them later. I've thought about maybe this Shinsha as well. She's definitely not bad. I haven't had the chance to like use her or invest anything into her yet. But she does give skill points, which is good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say my main focus right now are these 3 protection trait characters, and then you know, these 3, mainly the hero, and then these 2, and then slowly moving into maybe like Raphael, because you know, it kind of depends on maybe like Heroes Jubilee as well, and like where those stages start leaning towards. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe characters as well that like need to fulfill a specific niche, like an Earth magic character. This Earth Luminous. I know the new Earth Idol, Mirai, is going to be an Earth magic character. But obviously, if I can't pull her, then you know it's kind of pointless. So we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, let me know down below what you guys think. If there are any other characters that I missed, or like, yeah. I guess that's for battle characters. I'll do protection characters in the next video. But yeah, that's pretty much okay. Time to end the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.